And we're back once again with Anthony Greco. And when we left Anthony, prior to the break, he was on his way to New Jersey to bury his brother who passed away untimely, I must say, at the local hospital. So, Anthony, do you want to pick up where you left off on that?
Yeah. Where I was is I was back in New Jersey. I find out through a phone call that Nye County the DA has put a warrant out for my arrest for not showing up to court. That I had no idea that I was supposed to even be there. So I have, I immediately call a friend of mine who, this is what he does for a living. He's been an investigator for the city of New York for many, many years. I asked him what to do. He turned around and says, you're going to need to get in contact with an attorney back in Pahrump to get this cleared up. So I got in contact with attorney Nancy Lord. I actually, because I know her and I had her phone number because we were doing some business together on a patent. She's a patent attorney. And she was actually, she's in the process of doing a patent for me for something I had designed for the gaming industry. So I called her, told her what was going on. I asked her if she could get down to the court, let me know what's going on. She said she'd take care of it. So here I am. I have my parents in New Jersey. We're staying at my brother's son's house. I have Kathy with me, and I'm grieving for my brother. And I got to worry about driving my parents back to Nevada while I have a warrant. Because if I get pulled over for a traffic violation or anything, here I am in the middle of nowhere. My parents that are in their 80s in the back seat, they're going to be stuck in the middle of nowhere, and they're going to be pulling Kathy and me out of the car and locking us up because we have a warrant that we never even knew that we were supposed to be in court. That I determined, and my opinion is they do things like that so they can put a warrant on you, so they can find you and arrest you to make you look bad. Okay,
now, Anthony, I have a question here. Mm-hmm. When there was a warrant issued, was there any documentation to show that you had been served so that you would know there was a warrant? I mean, did they get a process server to sign a document? Was there something sent to you, certified mail, that you signed for?
At that point, I had no way of knowing that I was supposed to be in court. None. Nothing in the mail.
I really want to get to this issue here.
It's
in order for you to know, they've had an issue in Vegas where a process server was saying that he had served people, and he wasn't. So I'm asking, was there a process server who signed a document that said he had served you?
Until this date, no.
You've never seen anything?
I've never seen anything. Don't forget, I haven't seen Discovery yet. It's 2 years. I haven't seen Discovery.
Well,
we're going to get into that, too. So here I am worried. Okay, I'm taking care of my parents. They just lost their kid. I don't want to tell Kathy that she has a warrant on her because Kathy is a very kind and caring person. That's why she does what she does for a living. And that's her main focus in life, is taking care of her patients. And I don't want to tell her, listen, we have a problem, because she'll be in a panic for the next whatever amount of time it takes us to get back. And if she's in a panic, my parents would be alerted to why is she in a panic. So here I am, making phone calls when I'm not in the car. My parents are in restrooms at stops. I'm calling up, what's going on. So I'm trying to keep my calm so everybody else doesn't lose it. And this is what happened. So when I get back, I find out that the warrant wasn't taken off yet. There's some paperwork that has to be filled out. So Nancy Lord is working on that. When I get back...
Nancy Lord is what?
Nancy Lord was the attorney that I called because I knew her.
So you called her for some help as to
right to find out about the warrant, get the warrant. Tell her I'm in New Jersey at a funeral. You got to get this warrant squashed because I don't need this problem.
Okay.
Now we get back to Pahrump without a problem, and I have to tell Kathy now, you know, you're gonna have to watch when you drive because you got a warrant on you. We haven't gotten rid of it yet. So now she doesn't even want to go back to work because she's scared to go out of the house. So now she's in panic mode because she doesn't even know why she has a warrant, because this is the way we find out this is the way they do things. So finally we get the warrant handled. We have a court date. Go to court. I turn around and say, it was Tina Brisbell was the Justice of the Peace. Go to court. Nancy Lord is Kathy's attorney. I don't have attorney. I'm going to go pro se. That means take care of it myself. The judge decides that she's going to appoint a public defender. She doesn't want me, well, not her, but mainly Kurt Vito. I think he's the assistant DA. He says that he has to have an attorney. He doesn't know procedure and this and that. So I says, okay, they're going to give me an attorney. So I get an attorney. They appoint Harry Kuhn, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And he's with Gibson and Keene. I get an appointment to see them. When I go into his office, all of a sudden the guy starts bugging out on me. I mean, he just went, you have a bad attitude, where's all your paperwork? I says, what paperwork? I says, when I called the girl, asked what I should bring, she said, no, you just come here, we have the paperwork. He says, stop blaming it on the girl, and he just bugged. I'm telling you, this guy blew a gasket. So now Jason Ernest comes in the room, he's trying to calm Keene down, and I turn around and tell him, I says, I don't know if I'm coming off with a bad attitude or not, but you have to understand that I'm pretty upset on what's going on here, and I apologize if I'm not showing you any respect. And he starts yelling that you're a gangster from New York, and I'm like sitting in shock. I'm in this conference room, I'm in shock. I'm saying, this guy's supposed to represent me. He's calling me a gangster, and I'm not going to give you respect because you're a gangster from New York. And I said to him, I said, where are you coming up with this gangster stuff? So I says, I have some paperwork in the car. Do you want to see? He jumps up out of the chair. His chair slides against the wall. He goes to open the door. He says, go get that paperwork. Why didn't you come in here with it? So I walk out to the car. I actually thought he was going to strike me. That's how violent he got. I walk out to my car. I have like 200 documents that I made copies for them of 200 things I think they would maybe need. And he doesn't even want to look at it at this point. He's just ranting, and then he gets quiet. Jason Ernest quiets it down, and Jason Ernest starts talking to me, and I felt comfortable with him, but this Keene guy just couldn't. It was like a dog that was starving for a year, and I was like this raw piece of meat sitting at the opposite side of the table, and he was going to get it.
Well, it's certainly very descriptive, I must say.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not that I was afraid of him. I was just in shock on how, I'm saying to myself, is this guy drunk? Is there something wrong with him? Is he in, I just never experienced it. It's craziness.
So what took place after this?
He turned out that they made another appointment. He didn't want to take, now he yelled at me for not bringing any documentation. I go to give him 200 copies I made that I paid for and dug up to give to him. He refused to take it. Jason Ernest says, no, why don't you come later on at another date? We'll give you another appointment, and you can come with your stuff, and we'll discuss the case. So I says, okay. So they give me another day to go see them. And here I am. I'm driving in a car, and I'm at wit's end. I'm saying to myself, there's something definitely wrong here. This is not good. So I get on the phone with a friend of mine who's an investigator in New York, and I tell him exactly what happened. He said, you got to be kidding me. I says, no. I says, listen, I'm not on drugs and I'm not drunk here. This is exactly what went on. He says, you know what? There's something wrong here. We got to figure out what's going on. Well, over the next couple of days, I decided that Gibson and Keene and Ernest were not the people that would be looking out for my best interest on just the way that they treated me and I sent them an email saying that I wasn't comfortable with Mr. Keene and that I didn't want them to represent me. And the next meeting that I had with them, I didn't go to because I told them they were pretty much fired. Well, the day we have to go to court, I see Jason Ernest there, and I turn around and told him, "You're not here for me." He says, "Yes, we are." I says, I don't want you guys. I says, "Your partner's crazy." I says, I don't need him to represent me. He's out of his mind. So when we go up to, it's our turn to go up, Jason and Keene are there, and I turned around and looked at them and I says, "Listen, I don't want you guys. You guys are fired." Well, Harry Keene blows his top and turns around and says, "You better shut up. I'm gonna turn around and if you don't shut up," he tells in front of the judge. Now we're in front of Ginsler, and he turns around and says, "This guy just threatened me." And I says, "I didn't threaten him. I told him he was fired." He says, "He threatened me, and if I'm gonna slap him if he doesn't shut up, and he's gonna be the one that's dead." Now I'm in the courtroom looking at the judge. My mouth is like, I got 30 people behind me in the courtroom. When he threatens me, these people just gasp. You could hear a giant gasp in the courtroom that these people can't believe that this attorney, my attorney supposedly, that I'm trying to get rid of, threatens my life. So I turn around and he says, and then he starts saying, he has money, he's hiding his assets. Now this is a court of law. Now even if he was supposed to be my attorney, you're not supposed to turn around and say, if I did have money, you're not supposed to turn around and try to throw me under the bus saying, "Oh, he's paying for his girlfriend's attorney," and I got all this on tape. This is all on tape. It's all on tape. Him threatening me, threatening to hit me, threatening to kill me. This is all on videotape. I actually have it on Parum Freedom on Facebook where it says "Lawyer Gone Wild." Harry Keene threatened to strike me and kill me.
Now, let me ask. I want to be clear. You have on Facebook the actual recording in the court, or you have just your comments?
I have the actual recording of the court documents, of the court tape of him threatening me in front of the judge, in front of 3 people from the prosecutor's office, and nobody says anything. Harry Keene wasn't sanctioned by the court. He wasn't reprimanded by the court. He wasn't anything. Actually, he got so crazy in the courtroom, I actually left the courtroom and went to the sheriff's department to file a protection order, an order of protection, because I thought at this point, this is the second time this man threatened my life. I think I better get an order of protection against him.
Anthony, we're coming up on another hard break here. I just want to add, that was one day that I sat in the courtroom and actually saw what Anthony is just talking about, and I was actually very surprised that Judge Gensler never said anything to this attorney. Maybe he was preoccupied with something, I don't know. But there wasn't anybody else in that courtroom that didn't hear this attorney threaten his client. To me, the attorney is supposed to be there in your defense, not there to throw you under the bus, as Anthony said. So look, we're going to come right back, and what is it you want to talk about in the final segment of this show, Anthony?
I'm going to talk about what's been going on in the court.
And that may be most interesting of all. Look forward to seeing you after the break.
So now I'm going to